Thank you. Just a quick check if the mic is working. Great. So, thank you so much, and thank you everyone for making it up. It's quite a pleasant environment outside. That's what I heard from my friend. I'm coming from Bangalore. I was expecting 50 degrees, but luckily the weather was a bit patient with us today. It was good. Yeah, predicting about 2030. I like the fact that there's a spiritual partner here, right, for this event. With spirituality aside, predicting things, it cannot happen by sharing people's own opinions, because everybody in this room will have your own opinions about something, right? A great prediction will work if you take a step back and look at the past and identify a pattern. Because if you're making a prediction based on your immediate last 2 weeks kind of a thing, then your prediction may go wrong. However, if the prediction is made based on identifying a trend, a slightly longer trend. Now, this is one of the success mantra that these traders use, right? I'm sure many of you will be doing investments, trading and stuff. I'm not going to sell you any course, don't worry. But, if you have seen successful traders, investors, right, they don't react to market noise immediately, right? They'll take a step back and look at a slightly longer trend period, right? If you look at our own Nifty, right? If you look at it in an immediate basis, it may have fallen a lot, but if you take a step back and see over the last 20 years, it has grown significantly, right? The same with gold and a lot of other things as well. So a great prediction should begin with looking at a long term. So the same for this 2030 marketing trend as well. So when this topic was given to me, I was just thinking, am I going to share my opinion with you all? Because if that opinion is going to be there, then it's going to be all AI, right? Because that's what you may have heard everywhere. But as a real marketer, we should always look at 2 steps back. That is technically 2 decades ago, what has happened, and right now where we are. This way, you all in this room can predict what's going to happen next in the next 5 years. So that means you don't have to actually listen to my opinion, but you yourself can frame how it is going to go over the next 5 years, right? And hopefully it makes sense. Now, just a quick question in this room. I hope every one of you are on LinkedIn, right? So, how many of you have really taken a week off over the last 6 months? A real week off, okay, from work, not like where you go to vacation and sit and work and call it as workation by fooling yourself. A real off. Have anybody taken like that over the last 6 months? Probably only one. Maybe you're the one in the million. What about a couple of days off from LinkedIn? Have you guys been off from LinkedIn for a week? That's great. That means you're doing a good job. Why? Because LinkedIn has the habit of, if you're off from LinkedIn for a week, and then suddenly when you open LinkedIn and when you see the feed, a random dude would have figured out that there's a laptop with 21 agents running, and they have fired the agency, fired the marketing team. Everything is being handled by agent. One claim will be there. There will be another claim. They have built a N8 workflow. Everything is being done automatically. Then there is another one who says SEO is dead. Marketing is dead. Everything is dead as per LinkedIn, right? But we don't know what is living. Maybe AI is the only living being, but it is unfortunately a machine. So people have the habit of creating those opinions and saying, so much so that it will create a FOMO for you. This FOMO is not missing a party, right? This FOMO is like as though the world has moved on completely over a week where you have not been on LinkedIn, and then suddenly there is like too many changes have happened, and then everybody has figured out except me. That is the mindset that puts you in. And then the same would not have been the case 10 years back, where 10 years back when you are not on LinkedIn or not completely updated for a month also, not much would have changed. Probably some algorithm updates, probably ad manager, Facebook ad manager would have made some few tweaks in the platform. That's about it. Within 2 hours, if you spend, you are fully updated, because the fundamental never changed about 10 years back. But right now, these are changing every single day, right? Now, that is something which creates a situation where for you to stay updated and all, and that's where most of these platforms are also taking you as a bait. Now, this is where we start with, where the speed of noise that you're seeing on LinkedIn is not the speed of the progress. Because bigger shifts in marketing, they never happened overnight, or they never happened because somebody announced on LinkedIn, right? The bigger actual shift is happening when you actually analyze the data, your analytics or your ad campaigns. So that is where the real shift is happening, not just on LinkedIn or so. So historically, ever since the ChatGPT came mainstream, so much content is being put up right now, so much that about the topic AI compared to anything else that is happening in the world history. AI currently gets so much focus, so much content is produced. Now this speed of content production doesn't mean everybody is having some progress, because this speed of AI adoption happened only in the last few years. That means we may think, is it like only now this AI has come into existence? No, absolutely not, right? Back in 2011, right, when IBM Watson, you guys have heard about IBM Watson, right? Somehow people forgot about it in the same speed at which it went, right? In Jeopardy, it broke the record. It beat nearly 2 to 3 world-class, players during 2011, right? It's like almost, suddenly it looks like 15 years. And then they locked it out. It was not available mainstream. Only enterprises got access to it, and it was all experimental and stuff. That's about it, right? So what we're going to do is to look at, like I said at the start of my note, like let's take a step back and see what actually happened, only the key things that has happened, and then together let us see how this prediction is going to be over the next 5 years. So we'll start with 2005. Now why specifically 2005 is because after the dot-com bubble crash that happened in 2000 to the 5, there was a lot of settlement period that happened. Right in 2005 marks a significant year for marketing, because that year Google Analytics came in for the first time. Of course, it was previously called Urchin and Google bought it. And then Facebook was about a year old. They were switching from just from a US native to across the globe. They were getting a lot of traction. And third thing is YouTube was found. The first zoo video it was on YouTube. It was during 2005 as well. So these three things is where the real digital marketing things started taking shape, because people were also started moving into digital at that time, and they were hordes and hordes of people were getting in. In that time, the question that was mostly spoken in the marketing teams were, where is the customer, right? Now, that customer, are they consuming the content on TV, radio, newspaper? All those things were there. But suddenly when Facebook was happening, when Twitter, YouTube, so suddenly people started questioning, where is the customer online? Now that gave rise to a new kind of a discipline called media planners, where the digital media planners started looking at where the customer is present, whether the customer is on YouTube, whether they are on Facebook. If it is in Facebook, where are they? What is the kind of targeting we can set? All these were not available during the days of the newspapers and TVs. You have to listen to third-party publications, Bark and all, and you have to rely on that data. However, these things gave a significant boost to the boardrooms in the marketing world, where is the customer was easily answered. They were able to find the customer. The simple thing is find the customer, place the ad, make them click on the ad. That's about it. Humans were creating the copy. Humans were planning the strategy, how to deploy, how to reach those people and stuff, and it was all going fine. Now, in the 2011, like I said, the IBM Watson and all these things happened. And during that same period, Facebook acquired more than 600 to 700 million people into the platform, and truly social became the talk of the town. So the presence of a brand on these platforms was the most important thing. Wherever we were speaking with, at that time I was an executive at that time, the first thing was, is the brand available on Facebook? Is the brand available on all these social channels? If not, create it and start engaging with the community. That is what formed the center stage between 2005 to 2015. Now during 2014, right, two things, very important things happened. One, Google search, Google, which is the largest traffic source, for the web, they changed their algorithm from a lexical search towards a more understanding what people are searching for, and we call it as semantic search. So lexical search is nothing but word to word, understanding what is this word, it's there present in the web page, and then it tries to rank for it. It's a very simple way that they used to do. But they changed the algorithm from lexical towards a semantic, where it started trying to understand meanings of words. If somebody is searching about where to buy apple. Based on their history, it knows whether he's referring to a phone or a fruit or whatever that is. And then it also started looking into the location targeting, because the same year, 2014, for the first time, mobile usage was more than the desktop. That became even more important for Google, because they can now do precise location targeting. They know, because a lot of mobile phones, obviously, they share the data. So it became easier for the brands to target location-specific individuals and mobile-specific individuals also. Now, during the same period, only iPhone also, during 2008-9, so the iPhone launch, and that also was bustling, and that also contributed to this growth. This is the 10-year kind of a summary, right, from 2005 to 2015. Of course, there are a lot many has happened, but these are some significant things that shaped the way that the marketing direction was going on. Like, where is the customer? Find the customer, place the ad. That's about it, right? Now, when we move to the next decade, between 2015 to 25, so what really happened was, people know where the customer is. Everybody knows people are spending time on Meta, on Instagram, and then they know they are Googling. You can place your ads. On Twitter, you can place the ad. You can do programmatic. So a lot of those things started appearing. But the important thing that started happening was, who is the customer? We all know where is the customer until then, but who is the customer? Because that becomes a center point. Now, people are trying to understand who is the customer, where are they present, what are their interest levels, right? And this who is the customer became a very crucial point for retargeting ads, for programmatic. The data suddenly became a very, very big thing. And the things were going fine in the marketing community until 2018. Where suddenly the Cambridge Analytica scandal happened. I'm sure a lot of you may remember. They simply scraped the entire data, and they were using it for the elections and stuff. And they got slapped with $5 billion fine. That's when European region, they woke up, and then the GDPR is something which they deployed. And the cookies, which is the fulcrum of the whole digital marketing campaigns, that started taking a hit, because websites are no longer allowed to collect the information of the user without their consent, right? Now, when the cookie depreciation started happening, suddenly people with first-party data, they became the heroes. First-party data became the currency. That's one of the reasons why, be it on LinkedIn or any social platform, the moment you add an external link, that post will never perform, because they don't want people to go out of the platform. They want, as more and more time you spend within the platform, the better for these systems. So this became the main turning point for the between 2015 to 2025. And then the COVID hit, and obviously you all know what happened. And then the November of 2022, where the ChatGPT, when they became mainstream, that changed the game completely. Now, circling back to the Watson era, where people are in very much excited about that, but then they don't know how to use it. When a technology is available to public, right, when a mass audience, when it goes mainstream, that is when a lot of change will happen. Now, what IBM failed to do was not failure, probably they understood something and they didn't want to release it to public, so they kept it under the hood. But when ChatGPT came in, and obviously Claude and everybody started, Perplexity started coming in, suddenly you are placing a very powerful assistant in the hands of the people. And 75% of global audience who are using internet, they have been started using the AI tools. So much so that in Google, there is per day 14.5 billion queries are searched, right? It took them almost 25 years. But in ChatGPT, 2.5 billion prompts are being prompted, per day. And this is only ChatGPT. And ChatGPT is only 70% of the LLMs. The remaining 30% is lying with Perplexity, with Claude and all. I love Claude, by the way, right? But, with all these split up happening, imagine, 30% of another 2.5. So almost like 3 to 3.3, 3.4 billion prompts are being done on these things. So truly it has become mainstream, the ChatGPT and the LLM specific. So who is the customer is something suddenly became very easy for people to know that, okay, you know what, my customers are the ones who are spending more time on ChatGPT, and now I want to be featured over there. That became the center question. Now that formed the core for this 2025 to 2035, but probably will take a mid stay at 2030. Now, if you guys have seen the trend, we are looking at where is the customer. So the presence of the brand became very crucial. Next, after we know where the customer is present, who is the customer, what is he doing, how do we target? That became a center stage. Now the third thing that's happening because of LLMs is that who is guiding the customer, right? And you guys may be already known about these meta updates that has happened, the Andromeda update, where everything, the platform itself is trying to manage everything. All you have to do is upload the creatives. It will read your website. It knows what to target. It does everything in a way, but it's not outstanding. Still, we have seen personally, if you run it manually, it works well, but they are also trying a lot. So machines are more and more beginning to guide the customers. Now, I talked about LinkedIn, but let's look into YouTube also. I'm sure every one of you use YouTube a lot. There is only two entry points on YouTube, right? One, you wanted to learn about something, so you straight away get into YouTube, search for it, watch it, and then that video may be for some 5 minutes, but I'm pretty sure you'll end up wasting 40 minutes, 1 hour on YouTube without even realizing that you've spent the time. How? Is because YouTube knows what to show you in the next scroll. In fact, 70% of YouTube's views comes from recommendations only. So you just simply open your homepage of YouTube. I'm pretty sure in 5 minutes, you would have found a video which you like and you will start watching it. That's the way the algorithm has been tweaked, because Google knows so much about you, about your interest, either political, geopolitical issues or whatever that is. Google knows what you're interested in. So immediately if you open YouTube, you will know, you will be switching towards it. Now, that means you are not searching for it. You are being guided towards that interest which you are having. That is something which is the currency right now, right? How we tap an audience, guide the audience based on their interest without them even searching for it. That is where all the brands all the bigger ecosystems are getting into, be it LinkedIn, be it YouTube, or be it Meta, Instagram, everywhere, all the reels, everything you see, it's consistently learning from you. It's a machine learning, right? If you skip a video, it knows that you have skipped it within 3 seconds is the cutoff time. If you're not staying for 3 seconds within a post, it learns it. And if you consistently keep showing that, obviously you may not see that kind of video itself. However, the good or bad thing about these machines is that they will again resurface it after a month to test if you are still interested on it, because so much content is available for you now that whatever topic you are in, you'll quickly get bored of the topic, because too much of consuming anything is, they say the proverb, right? Too much of anything is good for nothing. No matter what topic you're interested in, too much entertainment, probably it may be not for the entertainment's sake, for the jokes and stuff, it may not. You may not get bored out of it. But the central topics, whatever that you're interested in, sooner or later you'll get bored. That's the reason why a lot of news, everything, if you see a pattern, right? For a month, it will be on that. It will be about Trump for a month. Later, it moves to something else. It was Epstein files before. So like that, the movement also starts happening because people are bored about it, right? Because maximum time limit for that is probably a week. That's about it. People want to know next. So when this repeated learning keeps happening about you, and the more you are consuming it, what is actually has happened right now, whether you are a ChatGPT user or whatever that you have been using, right? You yourself question, when was the time where you actually sat and think about a specific thing, where you learned, the joy of learning and then implementing something. Right now it's going down. Why? Because ChatGPT can behave like an Einstein. You can say, hey, next 1 hour, you be an Einstein, explain me about theory of relativity. It will do that. Explain to me as an 8-year kid. It will do that, right? This assistant, and in the background what it is doing, it is also searching. It's researching. It has its own data set where it has learned. Sometimes when you're asking about which is the best project management tool I can use for my business, then it's doing a live search on various places and it's collecting the information. So it's making you basically, I wouldn't say lazy, but it's actually making it more convenient for you to access that information. And on the other side, the content infrastructure is so high that a lot of content is also being pumped in. On one side, tons and tons of content is pumped in, and on the other side, these LLMs are organizing it and guiding you in a way, and so much so that some people are uploading medical records to get the advice. This has become like a second opinion for your life. Be it as a doctor, we get second opinions for medical, right? People are now getting second opinions from there. If your gym instructor is saying something, in fact, nowadays people are giving their own instructions to the gym instructor, saying that, see, this is one Arnold followed and I want to become an Arnold. And it gives you a clear this thing. It doesn't understand. Whatever throws in, it throws out. That's it. Now, so much so that over the next 5 years, whether we like it or not, people are going to think less. Why? Because humans, we have been made to search for something, search for knowledge, hunting, everything. We've been always searching and then gathering it. But when without searching, when you are getting everything, what will happen, right? You will obviously become lazy. So this 5 years is something which the paradigm is that the guiding force of these machines are going to take a center stage. If brands are not waking up to it, then it's a hit and miss kind of situation, because it's not a option anymore, because these are becoming mainstream. Like I said, 70% is being done through ChatGPT and all, so this has become mainstream. Now, this is how the decisions are currently made. It's not a surprising thing. You know about this already, most of you, right? Previously, what used to happen? You used to search something, you click a result, you read about it, then you make an action. For example, if you are looking for a best, CRM for your business, you'll be doing a similar thing. You'll be reading reviews, everything. But for doing all those activities, there was a search engine that was helping you to find that. But now what is happening is that people are going into the other platforms also, like an assistant. The assistant is doing the work for you. It is searching for multiple, because you don't have time to sit and go through tons of reviews. You don't know whether it's a fake review or a real one. So you're always you want the answer straight away. That's it. You don't want to see a 10-second ad, skip it, and then you want to read about it. You want to straight away want to know what is it. That's it. And then you have to move on. Now, this is what the brands getting recommended on these LLM platforms becomes so important, and it's important that the brand becomes part of the answer. So basically, the influence previously was happening after the click is done. You show the ad, people click, they come to your website, and then you try to influence your customer to buy from you. But now the influence is happening within the LLMs. So they are already doing the analysis, then they are coming to do a transaction on your website. Now again, the transaction is also getting automated, where nowadays, now there is a recent patent with Google. What they are doing is they are trying to create a custom website for on your brand. They know the customer experience, so much so that Google doesn't believe that you will provide that experience. Google itself will provide that experience to the customer. They want to read your entire website. They want to create a customized landing page for the user based on their search, and it's more like a search result page for your own website, and the customer gets to see that. So these are all the patents. This is the way these guys are going, and this is something which will be fed into an AI agent. So when an agent is making a decision to research about something, this will be presented to them. So this is the influence metric that is happening, and it is even going to go further more on that. So the important question, if you are on a brand side, is that of course agencies also, can these machines understand your brand, right? Now a simple thing for that is you can check on ChatGPT or Claude or wherever that is. Ask it what does it know about you. About either you can start with your personal brand, or you can start with your company brand and ask what does it know, right? And it knows about something based on what it has learned from your website. All the content that you have put out there, your website, your social, your PR, everything put together is what these LLMs are so far knowing about it, right? So the question here is whether your brand whether it has properly understood your brand, right? The communication, the brand positioning, is it correct or not? If your brand is trying to go all over the place, the machines are going to get confused about who you are. For example, if it is FTA, we focus on certain niche, and we want to be known for that. That's it. We don't want to be known for everything in the world, because that is something which is gone case, right? Now, if a brand is thinking that they can own everything in the world, then so much content has to be put out for the LLMs to do. So can these machines understand your brand? Now, how do we make the machines understand the brand? That is where this comes in, search engineering. Now, SEO as a discipline, it has always been seen as a spammy tactic, right? I'm talking about 2008, 10 onward, because when Google was using the lexical search, which I was telling you, word to word, it was easy for people to game it. They were building multiple content, they were gaming the system, right? So SEO was always looked at as a afterthought. Most of the money was on the media. They wanted instant results because they know where the customer is, they know who's the customer, they just want to show what is it and they're done with it. But now, since the influence is happening within the LLMs and 90% of the work that is needed is all the SEO work, a genuine SEO work that needs to happen. So we are calling it as search engineering. In this discipline, what's going to happen is we're going to look at, in search engineering, a brand is going to be taken and going to look at, first of all, what the LLMs know about this brand already. Second thing is, what does this brand want to be known for? And what is your customer journey? At which point of the customer journey are you being recommended or your competitors being recommended? People are tracking it. There are a lot of trackers in the market also. You may have seen a lot of prompt trackers that are coming up, right? The problem with those things is whether these LLMs are talking good about you or bad about you. That is something which also need to be tracked. So, this search engineering entire activity will focus on ensuring that the brand is being looked up well. What is the communication? What is the content strategy? The digital PR, technical SEO, everything combined is what this search engineering is all about. Now, this is something which is going to take mainstream because the top agencies in the next 5 years, forget about the agencies for a minute. As a brand, right, the first question you should be asking is, how is my brand is being read by the machine and what it knows about us? Second, if you are an agency, most of the agencies, they focus on the speed of execution. That is what is being sold, right? Otherwise, brand can set up their own in-house team. They want scale, they want speed, they want strategy, so they deploy an agency. If an agency is only dependent on, the moat as execution, like Body Shop, right, that's going to have a tough time because a lot of these agents are going to replace them. So the main thing here is the clear thinkers, people who are knowing what is needed for the brand. Now that is going to be an important thing for the next 5 years perspective. So the question again, the same thing, if you are going to ask AI about your brand, what does it show? From there, how do you start as a next step, as a base, whether it's talking negative or positive about you, or if there is any wrong numbers out there. There are a lot of brands which we have seen. We are tracking quite a lot of prompts. And what we have seen is there is a lot of wrong information. Some company would have been founded in 2010, but because the AI read from somewhere, something, and there is one company it mentioned, the company is closed in India, but actually they are actively recruiting, they are active in India, they don't know what to do with it. Because somewhere, I think in some people feedback, there was a mass layoff and a lot of people started mentioning that the company is closed in India. But they are actively recruiting in India, but the LLM was saying it's not. And candidates are also getting feedback from these LLMs. So basically, that's the thing which I want you to, walk away from this keynote is that very simple, our machines and is your marketing probably, is it ready for machine readable content? Is it ready for getting featured on these LLMs? That is something which, whether you like it or not, that's the thing that's going to define the entire next 5 years. Everything else is going to be automated, right? This is one where you can control. So yeah, that's the thing. So marketing in 2030, influencing the machines. We have been building websites for humans. We are churning out content for humans. We run ads for humans. But now marketing has to focus on the machines. That's the thing, which is fortunate or unfortunate, but I leave it to you. But yeah, that's the thing. Thank you so much.